get the proper intro going.
Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the Wheel of
Exactly. We need the Wheel of Madness intro because it's the Wheel of Madness, baby. Well, that's what I'm saying, like doing the last second switch ups and all that stuff. There are certain things that do go miss. So again, mea culpa on my side. It's not been the best day. Like I said, it was late to debate and everything. Well, folks, without further ado, let's start the show.
Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Man, we got a damn good show for y'all today, man. Damn good show. I think this is gonna be one of the best. We got one hell of a show for y'all today, man. Got a good show. We got a good show for y'all today, man. We got a damn good show. Man, we got a damn good show for y'all, man. Good show. We got a damn good show for y'all today, man. We got a damn good show. A damn good show.
A damn good show. So, folks, just to remind you, the menu is currently being listed across your screen, but we'll go through it just for the intro as well. Folks, this is the Wheel of Madness, which means we spin the wheel and that gives the topic. As you can see on screen from the multicolored wheel, there are plenty of topics. Today's theme is the religion. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of religious topics getting thrown at you. If you don't like that, we can get into that as well. Because fundamentally, as chat, you get to just decide what way the show runs. So if you want to spin the wheel and move on to the next topic, it is only $10, folks. But like I was saying, the current theme is religion. If you want to change out that theme, you don't like religion, let's say. You want maybe some pop culture topics, or you want some dating topics, or maybe some philosophy or politics. Yous have the choice. It's only $25 if you want to change out to a different theme. The theme are listed below. We also have the lock wheel item. This means that if you get a particular prompt that you like, so for example, we'll pull out a random topic like, is God real? If you think that you want to stick on that topic, you can pay $50 and lock the wheel, which means the wheels can't be spun until it's unlocked. Folks, we also have the meme clips, the little memes, the memes, whatever way you want to call them. If you want them to be injected, we have the $5 as well. In terms of a specific topic or a song, like I was saying, maybe we don't have the particular prompt on the wheel. You can interject your own prompt, or you can get me to read out a song lyrics, maybe in a funny accent. $20 if you want to do so. And then finally as well, for the last series of moves, we have the drop or return panelist. So let's say you don't like a particular panelist. Even myself, you don't want to listen to me talk about shit. You can drop me for 5 minutes for this $5. So you want to drop me for 50 minutes, then it's $50. If you want to ban someone from the show, they come back tomorrow. You know, a 24-hour ban, it's $100, but I am immune to that one because I do have to run the show. And lastly, just to remind you all, we got a PayPal and a Ko-Fi link. They're also on the top of the screen. They're pinned in the chat. These links basically are directed to PayPal and the Ko-Fi because did you know that YouTube are thieving bastards? They take 30% of all your super chats donations on the YouTubes. So if you want to avoid giving the 30% to YouTube and give it to us instead, you can use the PayPal or Ko-Fi and you get 50% more if you do so. So let's say, for example, you spend $20 on a super chat. That means you get 2 spins of the wheel. But if you were to send that same $20 using the PayPal or the Ko-Fi, you would end up getting 3 spins of the wheel in terms of value. And also, William, let me know as well. We have our official Wheel of Madness clip. Let me know what you think.
Wait. What is this?
Wheel?
Wheel. Oh, I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing.
I don't think so.
Let the madness ensue. Let the madness ensue, boys. So we're going to spin that wheel.
Spin it! Spin it! Wow!
And we get to one of the fundamental questions one might ask is, did the universe need a creator? So again, folks, if you are in chat and you are raging, or perhaps you're more sophisticated and you want to, flex your great debating skills, more than welcome. The pin is the link is pinned. The pin is linked. It is what it is. It's. I'm still waking up. I think I still waking up. The coffee still hasn't had its effect yet. But fundamentally, like in terms of this aspect of the universe, whatever this is, like what we call life, what we call the world, what we call the galaxy, the universe, whatever, the cosmos is another way of expressing it. Whatever word we want to use to define what this is, like, does it need a creator? Now, the troll response, or the typical kind of like counter to this would be, well, does it actually need a creator? Could it not have just been uncreated itself? Now, I would obviously fight against this notion, because when we observe reality or the universe or what have you, everything seems to change. There is nothing that we can point to that is unchanging. So in terms of the physical, the fact that it is, let's say, eternally uncreated, we know that to be false. Simple observation will tell us that everything changes. Everything is in motion. You know what I mean? Even the scientists, like with their atoms and all this kind of stuff, they'll tell you, yeah, like the electron spins. So then we get back to the question, like, if this is, like, whatever word you want to call it, you can even call this a simulation. If this is a simulation, is there not a power source? And like, that's the fundamental question to me, especially in modern day when we use the likes of like simulation and all this kind of stuff, because this is a phenomenon that I've seen in a lot of debates where it's like the atheists would kind of try out something crazy like that. It's like, oh, it could just be a simulation. It's like, yeah, but that still doesn't get around the point. I can grant that this is a simulation, because the Christians would just say this is God's simulation. You know what I mean? So like, from the aspect of like a simulation, like if you just like think of like your typical example of a simulation, we're going to run tests or whatever, there needs to be some sort of power source in order to be able to conduct these experiments. Like, think of a video game, for example, is like a real life simulator. Like GTA, for example, is like a real life. It's like a real life simulator. You know what I mean? There has to be a power source in order to play the game GTA. There needs to be some sort of energy source to manifest this. So if that is the case, then there must be a power source, which is the creator. So for me, this is a must. Like, I cannot see it otherwise. Also, shout out to William in chat saying, chat, I will not use my free spins unless you start paying to spin the wheel first. You guys run this show. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, a core aspect to this is that chat always wins. We don't just say that because, like, that's the thing to say. It's like we actually enable it and let you choose. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, and getting back to the whole kind of like universe, creation, all this kind of thing, like, there is nothing that we can point to where it is like infinite. You know what I mean? And like, to me, that's the key thing to this. You know? We also got Shazzy and chat, welcome in. Raid's coming in, welcome in, boys. Let me play the clip. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. And we got to play the easy clip. We got ourselves a premium meme by our boy Speakeasy. Let me know what you
Well,
think.
hang on, stop. Let's start with this. What are the 3 laws of logic? What are they? No, don't look them up. What are the 3 laws of logic?
Do you think this is an inconclusive
What are the
mathematical
3
statement?
laws of logic? There's 3. What are they?
I don't fucking know.
You don't know the fucking laws of logic, dude.
All right.
No, all right, dude. I don't know where you don't even know the 3 laws of logic. This is fucking crazy. You're fucking crazy,
do you want
bro.
to ask Speakeasy if he knows?
Yeah, it's the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and the law of the excluded middle.
His name is John C.
Anything else, dipshit?
You gotta love her. Appreciate you for the raid, Easy. Shout outs to Easy as well. And we do have a guest backstage. Let me introduce him.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.?
Mr. Chaos Nova. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Good yourself?
Well, not bad, not bad. How you feeling after your debate?
Not bad, but I think it went well. I wasn't really expecting the whole empathy is not real or empathy doesn't exist thing, but I think I made
Neither was I.
You know, but I think I made a compelling case, at least for the audience, you know?
I think you made some good points for sure. I mean, like you definitely stuck to your guns, and you were definitely trying your best to use logic in order to prove your point.
100%. And just to yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think you've made a stronger case than it just doesn't exist. I think like I'm not saying all psychology is valid. I think there's definitely some big holes in it, and it's definitely got some air of pseudoscience. But that doesn't mean there's no truth to it whatsoever. So.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, like it was an important thing to because I had a feeling that the whole like feminism thing and all that kind of shit, or like the suicidal empathy, like that was going to come up. But like I kind of like argued, like for me in that case, it's the fact that it's selective empathy. You're only implying empathy to one group of people, but you're not applying it across the board. And like to me, that's how you expose like these lefties and all these liberals. That it's like you have a false sense of empathy because you're not applying it across the board. Empathy doesn't have a team it plays for. Empathy is an objective, independent thing. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
also, real quick,
I
just
see
to
what
shout
you
out
mean.
William. Just shout where he says, chat tomorrow will be the final Madness of the Mods. For a while, you guys are relying on the mods way too much. Madness of the Mods was never intended for you guys to not donate. Exactly like I said. You got to shake things up a little bit. You know what I mean? So Madness of the Mods is going to be put on the reserves, and we're going to, like I said, focus more so on like different ways to increase the madness via the mods in terms of that as well. But getting back to the main kind of question here, Chaos Nova, did the universe need a creator?
Ooh, that's an intensive question. Got my gears firing on that one. Trying to take some cue points from all of you who have been watching debating. I would say yes. I'd say like the universe, like even if we go and we take why the fuck is the garage door open? The fuck? Even if we go and we take like the Big Bang Theory and we posit that that's true, the problem with that is that it runs into like an infinite problem, right? Like it's just like it's always like, well, the Big Bang Theory started, or the Big Bang happened because another universe collapsed on itself, and then once it imploded, then it exploded out and created a new universe and spit out all these things. But like, where does the beginning of that happen? Like, you can't just have, like, you always have to have a beginning and end. So even if we posit that that's true, you still need the ability for something to create that happening in the first place. And if we look at anything in life, from my perspective, there's so much evidence of intelligent design that it's damn near impossible to deny it. Like the way that the human body functions, the way that the planet works, etc. Like it's all so perfectly put together. And those are just two small examples within the grand scheme of the universe. So I think that, like, yeah, you definitely need a creator for the universe to exist.
I'll tell you what else we need. We need another guest for the show. We got one backstage. Let me introduce him.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mister?
Mr. Bud Rambowen, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you doing? How am I coming through?
Yeah, clear.
I don't think we need a creator for the universe, and I think most of the analogies are underdetermined. We don't know if it's a proper analogy that we can use, sort of like the things of everyday experience, and extrapolate them to big cosmological claims. And I think there's equivocation here. You know, earlier in your introduction, you brought up this idea that things just change, but is change the same thing as like a creative act, the same way like an artist creates a painting? I think this whole talk about you know, a creator is some really bad analogies that we don't really know if are really applicable to cosmological wholes.
Okay, so can you explain to me then how perfect then how a system can perfectly function in and of itself with no intelligible design whatsoever? Like right down to like the very way that like even electrons function, right? Like how does that just come into existence with nothing to design it? Right? Because you can have like you can create, hold on, I'm not done. Like for instance, right, you could create like you can create like a virtual world, for instance, right? And let's say you're not even intending to, you're just coding some shit and somehow accidentally put the wrong code in, and you have suddenly this virtual world, but there's going to be clearly imperfections in it, right? But if you have something that's so perfect in the way that it functions, like even in the human system, like the human body, like evolution can't even describe how the human body functions so perfectly, or how the liver functions so perfectly, without describing it as a random act of chance. So how can you describe that without a creator?
None of these categories that you're invoking are really, I don't think they're really useful in terms of describing what we're trying to touch at. When you refer to things like function, when you refer to things like perfection, and even chaos, these are things from a very human standpoint. When you say chance, that's not really. I
don't posit chaos exists.
Right. So then why are you invoking saying it's just random? Because I don't believe in random.
No, but what I'm stating is that from most secular viewpoints, right? Like, I'm sorry, not most. What I was stating is that there is another secular viewpoint, for instance, that posits life on Earth and how that came to be, when we go into it, that's evolution, right? That's what I'm describing. When we go into evolution, it posits random chance. Random chance is how they explain that away, but it's a self-defeating claim. So like you can't just say that random chance happens, right? There's no way to prove that whatsoever, and there's nothing solid. There's no solidarity in that claim, and so even with, yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I would say, like, I don't think it's not just random chance. I would say, like, it's gonna. So, I'm gonna use chance very loosely, because we do have to sort of not take that for granted and elaborate what we're talking about there, because it does lend itself to sort of confusion. But well, anyway, I'm gonna use it real quick. But it's not just random chance; it's chance under constraint. There's environmental constraints, and that lead to certain sort of things that are seen that are successful. And usually the type of things that are successful are going to be these sort of things, these sort of organs and body plans that, well, they work, and they work because they, and that's really reference to the environment and how they succeed in replicating the environment.
Right, but it's still chance.
It's chance under constraint.
Yeah, but chance under constraint still posits that it's chance. So like, just because you have constraint and you still can't describe how the constraint causes the chance to happen. Right, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, even if we want to go into the Big Bang Theory, right? I believe like the most accepted version of the theory is that you have antimatter and matter and collide, and then they create essentially what is known as our material universe, right? But the problem with that is, where does antimatter and matter come from? A former universe?
What if it just existed eternally?
So, but where did they exist? How did they come into existence? How can you posit that they just were? Right? Like, you're essentially describing God, because God just is. So like you can't just You can't just posit that something happens with no explanation of how it happens or how it comes to be. That's like saying, oh, well, this dog's here just because this dog's here.
Well, I would agree with you that we have to have like an answer to that. But what's wrong with just saying like we just don't know at the current moment?
Well, I mean, for sure, you could argue that, but I mean, like, there's a very far more likely answer to that, which I mean is there's an intelligent design behind it. Like it's not beyond belief. I mean, like even the very person who created the methodology of science in the first place believed that there was intelligent design and created the methodology of science based off of his belief in order to further explain his belief.
One of the founders of statistics was a racist who was like one of the leading guys of like scientific racism of his age. Is statistics a racist science? You know?
I mean, depending on the person using statistics, I guess.
Yeah. So just to say that whoever founded the science, you know, that determines kind of like what's going on. I mean,
well, I'm not saying the person who founded science. Science is a methodology. What I'm saying is that is the very laws that we use, right? Like the very rules that we use in order to evaluate something and determine whether it is objective or not, right? Like that very system was created by somebody who was quite intelligent for his time and was using that system to further the understanding of the existence of intelligent design. I mean, another great mind, Albert Einstein, was another person who said that you can't really have science and faith without separate. Like in reality, like from his perspective, and I'm not. This is not verbatim by any means whatsoever. I'm running loosely off of memory here, but he was essentially trying to say that that there's no possible way that these systems and these functions could ever exist without somebody creating that to be, right? Like if you have a system that so perfectly works the way that it works, and just to say that it just happened, but you have no idea of how that happens, and then you say, well, this is my theory of how it happens, and my theory is far more correct than one that already has a grounding in something. Like it doesn't really make to me, it just doesn't really make much sense, and I can't really see any evidence towards it. Like, for instance, evolution to me fails to meet the qualifications for the method of science. It does. I mean, like, you can't you consistently run into a variable of chance. You're constantly running into a variable of randomness. That there's no ability to actually prove anything. Like the idea that humans are related to bananas, based off of a what the hell is it called? Fuck, I'm blanking on the term right now. It's based off of a retrovirus. So retroviruses, we already know, are capable of adapting, capable of adaptation. Adaptation is not evolution. So that means that a retrovirus, whether it is programmed to only attach to one thing or not, if that one thing dies off, there is possibility for that retrovirus to adapt to attach to something else. So just because a retrovirus attached to a banana however many million years ago doesn't mean that we are related to bananas.
So
right,
when it comes to verifying evolution, the claim is never just like bare similarities. It's usually the pattern of similarity. I think if you're going to make a retrovirus argument, the argument more so goes to, well, the retrovirus inserted itself in the exact same places as you would in a human in the human's genome, not just in any random spot, but like in more spots that would just mere chance would account for.
Yeah, but it's still, according to the evolution theory, it's still by chance, right? Like it's still by chance. They cannot replicate it. Like the one of the main rules, the methodology of science, is replication. There's no replication available for it. They're incapable of replicating it. And then when we ask, well, what's the time frame for this? The amount of time varies per person answering the question, and then on top of that, the time frame is so large that it's literally physically impossible to even replicate the scenario. It really is.
It's a cracker. It's
So,
a
like, if-
cracker, it's a Cracker Jacks in the it's a Cracker Jacks in the pantry fallacy.
Okay, so if you have a fish, but it's born without fins, is it still a fish?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so but this is the problem with evolution. Evolutionists would state that that's no longer a fish. That's a different. That's something else.
Dude, what they
But it can still swim. It can still swim. But it has no fins. But it's a fish. But it's not a fish. It's a fish with no fins. Can swim, but it's not a fish. Right? Like, so you like it's these things don't make any sense. Like, you can't. So to say a banana, like for instance, is a human a plant? Do we share the same genetic traits as a plant? Or
No.
Right. We do share certain levels of carbon, maybe. We do share certain levels of, I guess you could say, structural chemicals, maybe, but that doesn't make us related to a plant, to a fucking fruit. Right? Like, this is my problem with people.
Not just similarity that it's not. It's like the criteria was never just mere similarity. It's the pattern of similarity, right? It's that we share like we I don't know how to explain it because I don't know anything about plant evolution, so I can't really comment anything about that. But yeah, like to go back to the example I would give for the retroviruses thing, I would draw an analogy, right? Let's say you're trying to study the textual transmission of Plato's Republic. If you were to know whether this was if you had two copies of Plato's Republic, and you were trying to know what if they came from sort of like the same school and they were copied, what would you look for?
If I was trying to discover if there is like you're just asking me if I'm trying to figure out if it's a perfect copy, if they're identical to one another.
If you have an ancient copy of Plato's Republic and you want to know,
right,
was this copy written down in Athens, or was it written down in Turkey? Well, or was it written down in Turkey, right? Well, one of the things you can look at is like, well, when scribes in the ancient world would copy off text, they would make errors. They'd make little errors. They would just add an insertion, take away a word, a spelling, whatever, and the next scribe would sort of copy it, write it down.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So if you wanted to know whether this is this copy came from Turkey as opposed to Athens, what would you do then? You would compare it with other errors that you have in the sort of like textual tradition of
right. But here's something for you to think about though. Like, given that same example, there's a person writing the errors, right?
Yeah.
There's somebody writing the errors. There's somebody creating the book. Right, yeah. Plato would have had to write the initial copy in order for that to have been even scribed by somebody else, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this is what I'm getting at here is that like you can say that, okay, well, we're looking for errors to find similarities between things, or we're looking for errors in genomes or however you want to posit this into the argument in order to find a relation between X and Y. However, in order for that to even exist in the first place, there has to be a start point for that to exist. Mm-hmm. And if we go, even if we go from a single-celled organism, how would the single-cell organism, if the environment is constant during this case, right? If the environment is constant during the time of the single-celled organism, it's all just water at this time. Like this, right? So we all just water everywhere, and then you have that's about it. And there's not really much change to the environment. You just have a bunch of single-celled organisms. What forces them to adopt into cell division? What forces them to then go from an amoeba from turning into an amoeba into another organism, and then turn from that organism into a bigger organism, and then that bigger organism into a fish, and then that fish is into this, and then it's into that, and then all of a sudden we got what they like to call fucking land whales instead of an actual fucking just, you know, like a hippopotamus, which is what it's called. A land whale.
My friend's calling me. He's like, dude, I don't know if I should pick him up. He's been like bugging me this whole week. About a month ago, he gave me this like little bug, right? And he told me to keep this bug safe for him. And I don't know if something happened to the bug, and I think I just owe him a shit ton of money because I don't know what the hell happened to his bug. But anyway, he gave me this bug, and he told me to take care of it. So I put it in a safety deposit box down at the bank because, you know, I don't want anyone to you know, mess with the bug. Now, I didn't look at that safety deposit box for 2 weeks. And I went to go open that safety deposit box about like a week ago, right? And the little bug, like it was originally like a little wormy bug. The bug's not there anymore in the safety deposit box. Another bug came out. This time that bug had wings. It was colorful. Now I don't know what happened to the original bug, but I think that original bug that my friend gave me is related to this new bug. I can't explain why, what happened, but I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable that through some process, this first bug transformed into another bug.
Are you trying to like posit Schrodinger right now?
No, the idea is that like you can have other reasons to see a process and maybe still be justified in relating the two without knowing the exact details of the process, right? I think like the main things that we have.
Yeah, so that's Schrodinger. That's Schrodinger.
Schrodinger's a different thing. That has to do with quantum physics, no?
Well, it's pretty much the same thing. It's like I can't know that this cat is dead inside of this box without actually opening the box. So it's essentially the exact same argument you just made.
No, it's not the same argument. So just like put concretely, like all we have right now is if we look at like sort of like the geological layers, the further we dig down, the more simplistic the life we see, and we kind of don't see this break where we'll find a cat at some of our some of our deepest digs. We just see these weird little dot things floating around, and it's very, very, very slowly
these little dot things that ironically function in perfect conjunction with these other little dot things, and then also function in perfect conjunction with all these other bigger things. Ironically, with no explanation as to how they just suddenly know. They have no state of consciousness, not that we can tell. There's no consciousness for them to essentially actually consciously decide to start operating this way, or to necessarily learn this in the normal understanding of what learning is. So why did
you decide to have the nose that you have?
That was made by the genetic makeup from my parents.
And that's the same thing with the cells. They didn't choose to have
right. But where did that start from? Because I have ancestors. You have ancestors. That all started from a point A, right? We've got all the way to point Z over here, but we went to point Z from point A. So how do we get from point A to point Z without there being something to place point A? Right? I could put a dot on a piece of paper, right? And I put that dot on that piece of paper. Without me putting that dot on that piece of paper, that dot would not necessarily be there. Unless you want to, of course, posit Schrodinger where there's nobody there to observe it. But like this is kind of like where the thing that I'm getting at here is that like you can't necessarily deny intelligent design. It's about just as plausible, if not more so in this case, than just saying, well, things just are because they are. I find that's kind of like slightly fallacious to just state something as just because it is.
Well, so I'm not saying it just is. I know there has to be an explanation. We just don't know now. And the problem,
right? And I'm saying I do know. Somebody made it. Something.
How do you know?
It's quite obvious. You can't have something so complex with such a high level of complexity without some form of intelligence behind it. The level of complexity in just in the liver alone is wild. Just in how the liver functions alone is wild. Especially how it functions in conjunction with other organs inside the human body. Like that's not something that can just happen by random choice and a random amount of events. Like this is why I think that you really need something intelligent to make that happen. It's the same thing that I think that you can't have. Pardon?
Is this just an argument from incredulity? I just don't know how it could be the case, so therefore it is the case.
No. What I'm saying is that, like, well, I guess so. I to be honest, I think I'm blanking on the fucking definition of incredulity, right? I didn't even fucking pronounce that right. I just totally fucking fumbled that word.
It's kind of like another way of saying, like, oh, I don't know. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm saying that just because you don't know, just because you say you don't know, that's not necessarily an answer, right? Like you can't just say, oh, well, I don't know yet, but we're gonna find the answer. But all the theories so far that we've put up can come to a consistent revolving door, so there's no real answer to it. Like the most plausible theory from a secularist point of view is the Big Bang, and even that still is a revolving door. Like the most plausible of the Big Bang theories is the repeating implosion and explosion of universes, right? Like continuously just happening, essentially like eating itself and then spitting itself back out and creating a new universe. Like that's the most like simplistic way I could ever fucking word that. But like, and even that is still a revolving door and comes into an infinitesimal amount of dead ends because you have no start, no end. But we know that with everything, there's a start and there's an end. This house that I'm living in at one point was built.
My problem is that when we make these arguments from analogies, how do we know? Wait, what do we know about nature such that we can know whether these analogies are accurate? Right. For example, like I can say, like, you know, in the back in the day, I could I would never invest in a ship made of iron because iron always sinks. Right. How do we know our common sense intuitions about the daily objects we find applies to something as big as the universe?
And I think that how do we know only strengthens my argument because from my worldview, that's already that intrinsic ability to know things is already built in. This is how like we ground morality and objectivity, right? Because otherwise you just have morality in a complete subjective standpoint, and then a Diddy is valid in what he does, right? Like because it's subjective.
That's an argument for consequence. It's not really an argument, is it?
No, it kind of is an argument because I'm stating that I'm able to ground these things into something. I'm able to actually state that there's a beginning. I'm able to say that, hey, this came to be because of X. But when we ask,
it comes down to this question: how do you know? How do you know which analogies are appropriate to apply to nature? Because not everything we meet, not every analogy, like not every sort of thing we encounter in society is a clear-cut analogy to the things we find in nature, right?
Okay, for sure. So let's take society out of the picture. Let's fuck a house then. Let's say I know that plant started from a seed. That seed went into the ground, water came into the ground, hydrated the seed. The nutrients around in the soil fed the seed grew and turned into a fucking tree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know that there's a point A for the point Z, right? I know actually, matter of fact, point A is not even that. I know that seed came from a prior tree, right? I know that, right? Like I know that's plausible. That's objective. We all know that to be true, right? I know that a child is born because a male human inseminated a female human. So a child is born, right? Like I know these things to be true and I can see this. I also know that there's a highly functioning system within how these things operate and come to be that is damn near inexplainable without some form of intelligence behind it.
I don't think I'm gonna die, honestly. I don't think I'm gonna die
cool.
Because I haven't died in the past. I didn't die yesterday. So I mean, I don't think I'm gonna die tomorrow.
I mean, I know I'm gonna die because I've seen death firsthand several times, many times, as a
But you've
matter
seen
of
other
fact.
people die. You haven't seen yourself die. And I also don't believe.
No, actually, technically, I have, because I was in a 2.5 week coma where I was clinically dead for about a week.
But you came back, so that's good evidence that even if you do die in the future, you'll probably come back. Nice.
That's not evidence that I'd come back. No, because I know bodies decompose. I know that after a certain amount of functions stop in the human body, you are dead. And I know that that's objective, and I've observed it firsthand. And I can apply that to myself because I am of the same. I am made of the exact same material and exact same functioning system as the other individuals who died. So like that's a very.
We can know things have certain natures because
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell
William don't care. William wants to spin the wheel.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome to Wheel of Madness. Happens all the time. We get told they don't give a shit.
Gentlemen, are ghosts real?
No.
No, I don't believe in ghosts.
Neither do I.
But if you're saying that ghosts aren't real, but then the human spirit is real, is the human spirit not a ghost?
I don't believe in ghosts, but I do believe that there are deceivers.
I'll be right back.
That could make you believe that there are ghosts. Like from a Christian perspective, like obviously that's my worldview, right? From a Christian perspective, if you're seeing a ghost, you're seeing a demon, right?
Yeah, but if you believe that like we all have like a human spirit, we have some sort of essence that's like not entirely physical and all that stuff, why would that essence would you not concede that it could be possible that essence gets trapped?
I'm not saying I wouldn't say it's necessarily outside of the realm of possibility, but I would say that under my worldview, that's not allowed within the rules of the confines of the creator that I believe in. So like personally, I believe that like if you die, you go to one of two places, right? If you're Catholic, you believe there's a third place called fucking purgatory. Right. But like, yeah, like I don't believe that your soul stays here and ghosts are actually real. I believe that's a deceiver, a demon, so to speak, right?
Yeah, but
the same thing that's making Transformers believe that they're men when they're women and women that they're men.
But like we could say like, for example, like, oh, I'm a Christian, ergo I can't believe in aliens. But like when you match the description of an alien versus an angel,
I don't think that's valid at all. I don't think that's valid at all. I don't think Christianity removes the possibility of other life on other planets. There's nothing. I've read the Bible like several times over. There's nothing in the Bible or Scripture that states that there could never be any life anywhere else. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even really touch on it. And if you want to get into books that are removed from the Bible that could potentially support the theory, I mean, the Book of Enoch potentially, as you said, even could describe angels as aliens. But like when it comes to spirits, I'm just saying that like if your spirit, unless like by divine intervention, your spirit was sent to like, you know, send messages or to aid somebody move through grief, maybe, possibly, like I'd be willing to maybe concede to that. But like just a wandering spirit locked on earth with unfinished business is like the norm is perceived. I don't see that plausible personally.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say it has to be the norm.
What's your take, Teriak?
Like in terms of digging down of like, look, what do we actually mean by ghosts? You know what I mean? Like, is that kind of like human spirit that we say that we have? Because you are not just physical. There's part of you that is not physical. You get what I'm saying? So like in terms of that aspect, if we're saying ghosts, like is that just a manifestation of that, or is it something else?
Well, I mean, there was like one, because like I do kind of like I do believe science and religion can go hand in hand. So like I do a lot of scientific study. Not as much as I should be lately, but that's because I'm studying for life insurance. But anyways, for like there is one theory, and don't ask me who came up with it. I don't remember, but there is one theory where like it's the guy describes where like it would be like almost like a residual energy, kind of like a memory, sort of like you know how like you can like there's certain type of I don't know if it's a metal or something. You can like hit it and it like kind of like stores the energy. Like it's almost like it stores the memory. Like so like maybe like there's a possibility that like if somebody dies and there's like enough energy or something that just released, then maybe like that residual energy can form like a so-called quasi memory, so to speak, left on Earth. Maybe. I don't know. But like beyond that, I don't really see it plausible personally. I just don't think that you can really just have spirits just walking around. I just don't think that's makes much sense. Also, like I used to do shit tons of ghost hunting as a kid, and like some of the most like reported haunted places in my home city, and I've never once seen one. Like ever. Like I used to fuck around with Ouija boards and shit. Like I was a mad degen, like totally oppositional to any religious like ideology whatsoever growing up, and like I've never once seen anything like that. I've seen things I can't explain, but I've never seen something that's like a ghost. I've never seen something like I've never had a glass just fly across the room and just smash into the fucking wall. Never just seen some apparition of somebody just like running by, right? And personally, if I did, I would probably go to my scriptures and it would tell me that that's a demon.
There's no
interesting.
evidence that you can give to convince him that ghosts aren't real if his primary source is the scriptures. And if you want to convince him otherwise, you probably just have to engage in a theological or more theism versus atheism debate, or I don't know.
Like that's the essence that I'm talking about. Like when we say that like the human spirit or your soul, for example, is that not the same thing that like when people talk about ghosts, is that not the same kind of principle?
Yeah, I think that's the idea. That's the idea of what a ghost is they believe your soul is left here, and it's typically attached to like some idea of unfinished business, at least like through like most ideas of what a ghost is or an apparition, so to speak, right? Like, but what I'm saying is that even from a Christian standpoint, even from like my worldview, it still isn't necessarily possible because it's just not allowed within the confines of God's structure, right? Like, so like the way that would be explained is that you have a malicious entity that is trying to convince you of such, that is trying to convince you that it is this dead loved one or whoever you're seeing, right? Like, it's not fucking Joe Blow that you were best friends with in high school that freaking drove off a cliff by accident because he was drinking a 6-pack and decided to go drifting in the middle of -50 below, right? Like it's not like that's just kind of how my faith tells me that I should believe, I should look at it. And also, I mean, just logically, I just can't really see there being really much room for that. Like I just don't. Just because there's a soul doesn't mean that you're going to be trapped here, right? Like that doesn't necessarily mean that. And through divine intervention, it's just not really plausible.
I have a question. I saw that in 1 Samuel, King Saul goes to a witch, the Witch of Endor. That's the only reason I remember it, because it has the word Endor in it. He goes to Endor to see like who he wants to get like a prediction on a future battle or something.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
The witch basically summons the spirit of Samuel. You know, was that really Samuel or was that a demon?
No, I would say that like under the purview of like witchcraft, I guess it could be possible for somebody to maybe use witchcraft in that way. Maybe. I mean, keep in mind the Witch of Endor was like, you know, a very big enemy of God in at least from God's eyes. And that was an act that was, I would assume, was allowed in order to teach Solomon the lesson that God was trying to teach him. Keep in mind the entire story of Solomon, the entire story was so that he would repent from the sins, right? Like you're not supposed to commit witchcraft, right? Or King David, sorry. Wait, did you say Solomon or David? Because I'm pretty sure the Witch of Endor was David, not Solomon.
I'm going off like an AI because it's like I don't. It's been a long time since. I've
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Witch of Endor. I'm pretty sure the Witch of Endor was no, not David. Was it Solomon?
King Saul.
Maybe it was Solomon. Yeah. Oh, Saul, not
It's
Solomon.
Saul.
Yeah, Saul. Yeah, Saul. Fuck, I'm getting things conflated now. No, yeah, King Saul. Yeah, so he did go to the Witch of Endor to summon him, but he was already under a curse. So he was using witchcraft in order to try and get advice from Samuel, because Samuel was essentially his advisor, like his military advisor, everything. He would go to him for blessing in war. He'd go to him for a blessing in good harvest, etc., 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 etc. Right? And when he essentially broke the pact that he had with God, Samuel essentially told Saul that he was cursed, that God had cursed him. Saul had originally taken this out on Samuel and had gotten enraged to this. So then eventually Samuel dies, and he's already anointed another king, which is David. So then during all of this, there's a whole thing of jealousy and everything else. And Saul is going nuts. He's going insane. He's going crazy due to this curse. But this curse is mostly self-inflicted. It's mostly due to him having an unwillingness to detach from what is no longer his, from what he has already lost because of his own decisions. So because of this inability to just let go, he is causing his own problems, and he goes and seeks out this witch, which is another extremely grievous sin to do. You're not supposed to do anything involved with witchcraft, whatever, especially when you're supposed to be an anointed king by the heavens, right? So he goes and does this, and I mean, there's plenty of stories there's plenty of like text behind the Witch of Endor that describes her as being somebody that was capable of doing things, and she was in line with demons. These are fallen angels. These are beings of original divine descent, right? So they would have capabilities that, you know, are beyond human understanding, and it's not her own power that she's using their power in order to do this. So whether or not that's possible, I believe, yes, that's possible for her to present the soul of Samuel to King Saul with those abilities. Whether that was, you know, supposed to happen or not, that's another conversation. It's quite clearly in scriptures, no, it's not supposed to happen. I still don't think that allows for ghosts to exist under normal circumstances. Like, maybe if somebody's using some crazy witchcraft, maybe possible, I guess.
No,
but I don't think we just got to
know that it's real.
I mean, maybe, I guess, but I don't think that we just have ghosts walking around here, bro. I don't think like there's just like fucking apparitions just chilling in your room right now, right around you, sitting there, just looking at you every time you go to touch yourself inappropriately, you know? Like, hey.
No, not that one scene from Ghostbusters where he's just in bed and a ghost visits him.
So like in terms of like what's being described here, it's basically like Saul goes to one of his attendants or thing like.
Yeah, but Samuel doesn't stay. Yeah, but Samuel doesn't stay. Like he essentially talks with Samuel. Like he essentially is trying to have a conversation with Samuel, and he ends up just getting scolded, and Samuel fucks off back to heaven. Like, it's not like Samuel just stays here. It's not like he's just trapped
I'm not
here.
saying that. I'm not saying that. Like, but even being able to call forth some sort of like apparition from heaven or hell or wherever they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
but then the question, no, not necessarily, because then the question should be, are souls real? Not are ghosts necessarily real? The ability to call somebody's soul from another realm back doesn't necessarily like for a conversation doesn't necessarily posit that ghosts are real. Ghosts posit that there is a trapped individual that's incapable of passing on. Like, I'm pretty sure definitionally a ghost is somebody that's incapable of passing on to the next realm. Like I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's like the general consensus on what a ghost is. I don't think that that's like really within the realm of like possibility, especially if you're under a Christian worldview.
Yeah, so it's an apparition of a dead person which is believed to appear or become manifest to the living, typically as a nebulous image.
Okay, so I guess sure, if you're having a conversation, you have a temporary ghost in front of you due to some witchcraft, maybe, sure, yeah, sure. Other than that, no.
You know, but that's why I'm using the Samuel example. You know what I mean? Because like that seems to be what they're describing.
Yes, and that's what I'm telling you. I just answered. I just said, like, under those stipulations, sure. Anything beyond that, no. Like, are there just like apparitions walking around? No, that's a demon. And actually, it's even posited in religion, like in the faith, sorry, in this religion, in my worldview, it's even posited that vast majority of the time, even when you try to make that happen, you're actually not really summoning who you think you are, and you're typically summoning a demon. That's that's also stated. It's pretty rare cases where you have, like, even in scripture where this happens, right? Like you have King Solomon, King Saul, and I'm pretty sure those are like really the only two that were known for being able to do so. So like have conversations with the dead outside of anyone committing witchcraft. And King Solomon used witchcraft. Saul sought out someone who used witchcraft.
Yeah, but let me come at it from this angle, like this whole thing of you saying that, like, if you're summoning that, like it's actually a demon, all this kind of shit. Like, do you think that like this practice of summoning past spirits or summoning demons, do you think that that is real?
I mean, like, I definitely think it's possible, for sure. Definitely think it's possible. I've never seen it, but like, there's a lot of things that I haven't seen. I haven't seen a fox be born, but I know a fox is real. I definitely believe demons are real. I think that, like, if we look at people who, I think that there's definitely something to be said about like the certain mental illnesses, for instance, and the increase of such. I think, like, if we look at like the way society is, you can tell that there's definitely like a level of like degeneracy that's increased over time. And there's influences behind that. And I think that those influences definitely are pushing for things. And when you try to play with certain things, that those can influence aspects of you, your mind, your body, your spirit, all that. But yeah, so I do think demons are real.
And I'll tell you what else is real. The Griff Break, folks. We have not reached the Super Chat goal, which means we are going to go on a Griff Break, which means we require a full $20 on the Ko-Fi or PayPal to end the Griff Break. Folks, I'll see you in a bit.
Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the Wheel of Madness! Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the Wheel of
And we're back, folks. So, just give you a little reminder. We were talking about the topic of Ghost, right? Is Ghost real and all this kind of stuff? So, during the break, I was doing a bit of digging around, right? So, it's like, what I'm talking about are like phenomenon like this. So, it's just some random chick sleeping. One second, let me do a full screen. Some random chick sleeping. Okay, that could have been the wind. Okay, probably not the wind at this stage. Blankets move, what the fuck? Some movement over here. Unusual light activity. You know what I mean? Also, yes, chat gets a giant L. I mean, like $20 in an hour. We can't even make $20 in an hour. Por favore, chat. Is it because I don't do the Grifton meme videos anymore? That we don't do, like, think about the Christians?
How in the world is a dying, lost world ever going to hear the gospel if we don't have some Christians that's got some money in their pockets to propagate it?
You know what I mean? Is it because we haven't been talking about the propagation? Is it because we haven't been talking about the Jews?
If you go into the old covenant, do you think the Jewish people believe you should be broke?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know what you heard, chat.
I don't know what you heard, but this show ain't free.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Well, Creative Wish says, ghost spirits, entities come in many names and many forms, not all good. Yeah, you know, I get that. I think Chaos was the one that was saying that, like, if he did encounter that, he would just automatically assume that it's bad. Like, that's what I'm saying in terms of these like apparitions or like these are the kind of things that I'm saying that, like, need an explanation. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anything else happens the rest of the video. One sec, she's back in the room now. Okay. We close the door. We're back in bed. Lights turn back on for some reason. Maybe she turned them back on. But now the lights are back off again. Now, again, like I said, this could be explained. Like some dude's wearing like the green thing, like the green suit or whatever, so the camera can't pick him up or some shit like that, right? Then we have like these. Now notice like all this from the Daily Mail. Okay, so like I will get in, I will give my opinion at the end of it. I just want to show you a second clip. This one's a short one, only a minute long. So again, we now have to do, like, how does the broom move? Like, where does the broom appear? You know? AI. Yeah, like, that's the thing now. Like, now with the AI, okay, I can grab the AI and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But all I'm pointing out is that, like, this does seem to be, like, some weird phenomenon, let's say, right? Here's another one just before we get back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of this and that, like, people can then try and say, oh, but it's like, it's AI, but like, why is there like a blur doing this like randomly kind of thing? But I mean, I don't think anything else happens to the rest of it. But this is what I'm saying. What is going on and why is it such a big, important thing? Because, okay, we're saying that she saw first ghost when she was 6. We could do random forest group. We're going to keep that in mind. Exactly, chat. This is all AI, right? Now, that is a potential explanation to this, right? But when we seen, for example, like the random broom come out of the thing, because obviously like the shed opening, that could just be like an automatic opening door. Like, let's not be idiots. You know what I mean? But then the broom coming around the corner with no hand attached to it and all this kind of stuff, but it also remains pixelated. That's very difficult for AI to reproduce, because when AI reproduces it, it's not going to be able to make the distinction between the pixelated and the non-pixelated. You see what I'm saying? So in terms of like shit footage, can actually be a benefit in these times. Great Witch says, anyway, forget the ghost. Can we discuss why people think having a security camera in the bedroom is normal? That's another thing. That's why I showed you multiple. Okay, like I showed you the first one, which was in the bedroom, which I found quite weird as well. Why would you want to film yourself when you sleep? If not, like, and again, like, there could be even the fairest intention that why do you have a camera in your bedroom anyways? You know what I mean? Is that like this potential, like this could be a blackmail ring and all this kind of shit. Like, that was the first one. The second one, like I said, was basically like security cam footage that we see at a business and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that one, and the third one was basically one of those like door cam things that you have. So why was there kind of like the blurry image there as well? Do you know what I mean? So in terms of like my point of view, one sec, actually, we got a guest backstage. Let me introduce him.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.?
Mr. Halfwood Gaming, welcome to the show.
What's up, Terry?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I was just about to ask you, what the hell were you watching? And I see this our Ghost Star Reel, so you're looking at ghost videos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Anyway, last week.
Unfortunately, though, GT says, spin that motherfucking wheel, Teriak! Well, it kind of stays on theme. Kind of stays on the angle that I want to come with. So, Halfwood, is the soul separate from the body?
Hey, we were talking about this the other day. Like I still feel like it's not like attached, but it's also not separate. It's like a very distinctive connection that the soul has with the body. It's almost like it's kind of like how magnets kind of like repel each other in a kind of way, but they're also like sticking nearby each other. So like having like 3 magnets where the one in the middle is being repelled, but it's still being locked in position with the other magnets. It's almost kind of like similar to that in a way, how the soul is with the body. Because it's like, I feel like for a human to be soulless is like impossible for them to do things and be soulless at the same time. Whether their soul is corrupt, they still have one. I feel like it's something along the lines of just like I don't know. I feel like it would be separate from your external life force, or it would be the same as your external life force, but just a little bit more intricate and complicated. But to me, like I said, I feel like it's a part of the body, but at the same time, it's not. Like the way that it's connected is it's almost like connected like the way that my computer's connected to Wi-Fi.
Yeah, but then that would mean it's separate, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, in a sense, yeah. I mean, the way I'm trying to explain it is like that explains the phenomenon of something that touches something but isn't completely touching it.
Okay, so how do we explain gingers though? Because like they're people without souls.
Have I been, as I've been told throughout the years, including South Park. Yeah. I mean, that'd be the only ones I've been told that are soulless. even though they're the closest to a white black person will ever get.
Well, we do have a EOD was unfortunate he wasn't able to make the show, so he sent me a little recording beforehand because he knew this topic was going to come up. This is EOD.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it really irritates me. South Park would say that red-haired people don't have souls, okay? Because we do have souls, all right? And lately I've been being called a ginger, a fat ginger, by everybody at school. And it really hurts my feelings. I like it doesn't, but it does really bad. Gingers have souls!
Okay. Okay, gingers have souls, apparently. But in terms of the aspect, though, like I think Creative Witch puts it a great way, where it's like the whole kind of like power, kind of like where's the power coming from? You know what I mean? Like what's causing our bodies to keep doing the digestion, all this kind of stuff? Because like from the aspect of, you know, like there's like brain dead people and all this kind of shit, and there's still kind of like bodily functions that go on even though like they're brain dead or whatever. But is that just okay? The mind is separate from the soul, which is separate from the body, or like what are like is consciousness part of this, or does it play a role in this? You know what I mean? There's a lot of kind of lines that get blurred, and we're kind of like talking about like these aspects, but the core, the fundamental starting point for me is this whole aspect of you are not just physical. You know what I mean? If you were to lose your arm or whatever, you're still the same person. You know what I mean? In terms of the aspect of like if I just lose my arm, I'm not all of a sudden going to be thinking radically different than if I did have my arm, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of the like what makes you, it's not just physical. There has to be something that's not physical, which would imply something like a soul, or is that just consciousness, or is this like what we call the mind? Do you know what I mean?
Well, beating into the analogy that Creative Witch put out, it's kind of like, you know, the body's kind of like a vehicle, and the soul is the driver, and the body is technically dead without the soul. Like a car can't run without all the things that make it run, including the external life force, which is the person getting in the car. Like you can't start a car without the driver. And it's almost like the human body is the vehicle, the vessel, and the soul is the driver.
But then it's like when we say, oh, like that person has no soul, like we would say that like, oh, that person's robotic, or
well, when humans say that, they say that in the reference as that someone's acting unlike their nature, or a lot of times when people say that someone's being immoral based off of their moral values and stuff like that. Like if someone's like, oh, this person shouldn't, you know, hunt animals, hunt deers and stuff like that, because it's you know, it's you're massacring a defenseless animal or something like that. When the person that's doing it doesn't see it that way, they're seeing it as a way to survive. And then people would say that person's soulless for not caring about a defenseless animal. Like the way humans word things, I feel like takes away from the context of the whole picture of what having a soul is. And I don't think necessarily our souls fully, completely diminished down to just moral aspects, because if that was true, being completely immoral would just obliterate your soul and leave a vessel roaming free to do whatever it wants, soulless, which I can't see it that way, because like I said, I feel like the soul is like the main starter for any living thing.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like in terms of like that energy source, but in terms of and I get what you're saying. Like you're saying, basically humans like are colloquially saying like you have no soul, but what they really mean is you have no empathy or you have no emotion or you're a psychopath or whatever
They're,
kind of
they're
thing.
tying it to something that has to do with against their moral values. So yeah, it would have to be like you're lacking something other than just the idea of a soul. That's usually what they latch that onto when they say you're soulless. Is you could I don't know. You could see a parent slap a child, their own child, or something like that, or spank their child on the butt, and somebody would say that they're soulless for, you know, in a form of hitting their own child. But there are forms of discipline you could do. I wouldn't consider slapping, but there are forms of discipline people would consider soulless when it's like, you know, discipline is something we have to learn. But yeah, no, oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, you kind of get the gist of what I mean.
But like that's what I'm saying in terms of like when we're evoking like consciousness, soul, or mind. Like that's one thing, and like my whole thing is that it's like certain actions would, let's say, scar your soul. You know what I mean? Or there's certain sins that would, like, let's say, you'd go straight to hell for, right? That would kind of denote that like your soul can be damaged or you can scar your soul, which then, like I said, versus, let's say, that whole kind of robotic mindset, or is what we typically compare it to as like the robotic mindset. Like that to me is it goes against this whole thing we had initially, whereas like the soul is the power of the body kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also feel like, you know, the soul or spirit, what have you, is intertwined to God, in the sense that if it could be corrupted, is where like where you said like somebody could be completely tranquil, where they don't even, like, they're there but they're not like almost like an NPC, like robotic. I feel like those are the type of people that don't truly accept God into their heart, and they'll even be the type of people in their own time away from others will probably like look up at the sky and say like screw you and all that other stuff, and say hateful things against God, and basically want to do stuff on their own and don't want God's help. And you know, I feel I can see God being like, well, you know, if this is the path you want, then I'll let you go down that path, but I won't. I'll be there with you, but I won't be able to guide you because you don't want my help. So it'd be like he'll still help, but he's not going to help us in the sense is like you're not going to see the things that you should see with a good soul because it's corrupt, because your soul's corrupt to the things you've done, or because you let your soul get corrupt. The specific cues and things that God would that you'd be able to see with a non-corrupted soul is like it would just go over your head, and you'd be like just a complete robot about things, like somebody dying in front of you, or just horrific things happening around you wouldn't even faze you. And I'm not saying like people who build up a tolerance to that stuff, but it's more like people who haven't even built up a tolerance, and yet they're just used to it because they've completely threw out their humanity, their soul, their spirit, everything.
Oh shit! I just realized too. All right, it's 4:30, guys. Oh shit! Right on the button. William's like, I'm not letting that. I'm not letting that.
Get it. His name is William Grammer, and he says, "Spin that motherfucking wheel." But yeah, like on the echo of that, I think it's an important thing to highlight in terms of like the power of the thing, because like I said, you can wrap that into whole like the way nihilism is, where you no longer believe in morality, which you then lose the will to live. But staying on this whole kind of like aspect of the supernatural, can people still be possessed today?
feel like we had a question like this, but it was something else. It was about something else possessing us. But yeah, no, I feel like people can still be possessed today. I mean, people let social media possess them. I mean, people can let their own mind possess them. That's where you end up getting the homeless epidemic that we got going on. Let people let drugs possess them. That's why we got a drug epidemic. I feel like anything can be possessive if you let it control you and you don't gain a control of it. Like I don't like saying this, but it could be true with some people who do let it take over their lives. But I don't really consider marijuana a possessive drug. It's really the person that allows it to possess their lives. Like, for instance, if they're not doing well and they're doing poor in their life, they're not getting anywhere, and they're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing, they're probably the one type of person that should probably not be smoking marijuana or even drinking alcohol. Because like if you ain't got no money, if you ain't got nothing going on, I mean, a lot of people be all like, well, I mean, what else is going to numb the pain? Well, I mean, probably being straightforward, keeping a job, and not being addicted to a substance that's going to just, make you not achieve anything if you are already at the light of not achieving anything. Because I mean, I've smoked and I went through college, everything like that. It didn't affect me that bad. Like most people said that they could never get anything done. But I think that's because they were never getting anything done in their lives to begin with. And when you have a mindset, marijuana kind of puts you permanently in that mindset. So if you got a mindset to do things and you smoke, you're gonna be able to still function because you're used to doing things. I don't know. That's just my comparison on it. I think everything in society could possess somebody because people let it possess them and control their lives.
Well, like there's the Captain Ahab is, I think, a good example where like an idea can possess you, and then you're out for revenge. Like revenge can possess you, or ego, or like you were kind of saying substances and all this kind of stuff. But if we are to grant that claim that that person is possessed by that thing, do we suspend all accountability?
No. Because then you can start using it as an excuse for everything, and that's not going to fly. That'll end up making society even worse. Just because someone is out of their mind or not themselves because of being possessed by something for a long period of time, that doesn't mean we shouldn't oust them for it. I mean, that'd be like the entire left being delusional about the whole trans ideology, which I still need to make a video called Bad Ideology about this fucking shootings and stuff going on. But like, being able to convince yourself of something like that is a possession in itself, because you've convinced your own brain to think of things to justify something you normally wouldn't justify just to protect someone else, knowing that it's damn well wrong. I mean, it'd be like, your family member killing someone, and then you defending them, saying, no, they've been a good person their entire life. I know this person. They would never do this. That wouldn't unjustify the fact that they did something wrong and have to serve the punishment for it.
Just real quick, want to show a quick video because we didn't get a chance under it. Want to know your thoughts on this, Halfwood?
Under her bed, a girl got up in the middle of the night and was playing with her toys when something disturbing happened.
Hey, do you play with me? Sure, I'll play with you. It's fun.
I'm not gonna lie, that kid's brave as shit.
As she was playing, music from one of her toys goes off from under her bed, and when she goes to grab it, something drags her under. Moments later, her mom comes rushing in confused and brings her to her room. 2 days later, after building up the courage to go back in, this happens.
I should not be this scared right now.
The mom, I should not be this scared right now. Look, I'm inside.
While searching under the bed, one of her daughter's dolls startles her for a sec, and as she stares at it, it suddenly moves, almost as if it was breathing. She later explained that the doll isn't mechanical in any way, and that she has no idea how it moved like that. But after doing some research on the house, they found out that it was built next to land that used to be a cemetery, and that people that lived there before also experienced unexplainable things. So was it a ghost that dragged her under her bed, or was it an intruder? It dragged her under her bed.
What are your thoughts, Afwood?
Well, a lot of these videos make me laugh my ass off. I'm not gonna lie, because like it's just like it's so weird how when you look at a lot of ghost stories from back in the day, before cameras were ever about, to now, it's like there's been more reportings of ghost stories because cameras exist, and they always happen with cameras in a bedroom. Like somebody was saying earlier when I had jumped on, it's like, now I could get having a camera in a kid's room because I would always have a camera in my daughter's room, but I don't get like adults having cameras in their room 24/7. But this one particularly, it's like we label ghosts as things that we see unknown to us, and we really can't fathom what they are, especially like when random things happen like this. For me, it's hard to tell. Like most kids I know, when something like that happens, they run out of the fucking room. They ain't messing with it. That's one thing I could definitely tell for sure. But it could also still be a setup video for someone trying to get views. But around this time, because I think I remember this video, it didn't really come out around the time when people were trying to get popular video makings, but it did come out around the time when Paranormal had been released. So people were trying to like get other people roused up and scared about paranormal activities and stuff like that. So that would be, I don't know, I'm kind of iffy about a lot of ghost videos because like some of them seem pretty legit based on like the camera angle, I guess, and the type and the people that are around. But I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on that one because it's like there could have been I don't know. That one throws me off because I don't necessarily believe in ghosts as something that we know. It's more like we label ghosts or spirits of that nature just based off of things we see unknown, to be honest.
Well, like the thing for me, at least anyway, was the camera glitching out thing. That's always for me like a sus thing. It's like, okay, the camera glitched out just as she was like getting out from under the bed kind of thing. What did we miss? We could have missed like a picture or an image that was underneath it. The other thing as well, when you had the second one where it's like 2 days later, then she done like the thing of like showing underneath the bed kind of thing, and then it looked like there was another kid under the bed. I don't know if that was a doll or not, or what was going on
that was
there,
that was a doll. It looked very similar to the ones that my daughter has, where it's not mechanical. It's just like one you can put clothes and stuff on. But yeah, so within the 2 day period and the video glitching, she could have had enough time to be able to set it up to look like a scary incident or an anomaly. But to back up the glitched video thing, I mean, now there has been in some cases of, I like to call them anomalies. I don't like to call them ghosts or spirits or anything. I just call them anomalies because they're unknown. But there has been some cases where people have recorded in areas where these anomalies are presumed to be, and it would mess up their camera footage because of radio waves or fucking temperature, some fucking shit. I don't know all the details about it, but there's a few ghost hunters I watch that are actually like legit ghost hunters that like they go in because they don't believe ghosts. Like what? It's like there's two guys that are, one of them like he believes things that are random that jump out and shit like that scare the shit out of him, but he doesn't really believe in ghosts, but stuff scares the shit out of him. And the other guy, he doesn't believe in ghosts whatsoever. And they go and debunk all these ghost myths of different places. And it's a pretty, I can't remember the name of these guys, but they're pretty cool. And they have had some anomalies where their technical equipment would not work inside the building where they were trying to conduct their the activities. And the one guy that doesn't believe it all, he's like, yeah, it's just got to be a malfunction. Like he literally didn't believe it. He's like, nah, it's just got to be a technical malfunction. Maybe we did something wrong.
Because like that's the aspect here that you're trying to weigh across it. like the supernatural is just basically a phenomenon that can't be explained like through natural means. Do you know what I mean? Hence the supernatural aspect of it. And Creative is also saying as well, like take it from which, 95% of these ghost videos out there are fake. But there's certain ones, like I said, with the broom and all this kind of stuff, where it's like you can't really explain that. Like you can say, yeah, AI and all this kind of shit, where it's like, okay, we're just looking at fake footage. But if it's not fake footage, then what is the explanation? You know what I mean? And thankfully, we have a gay rights activist backstage to tell us.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.?
Mr. Okay, Mangoes, welcome to the show.
Hey, Terry, good to see you again. Hey, Half Foot Gaming, can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was listening, and it's like a very interesting conversation you guys have. I got a couple of videos I'd like to share with you to show that is not like ghosts or anything, but there's two videos that I came across in my like the last few years, and it shows like a soul leaving a body during during a death situation. And I was just wondering if those links, if it's possible to share them with you. There's nothing like gory or anything, but it shows one with a mouse in a mouse trap dying, and it shows a thing like an aura leaving the body, and it looks it has a distinct shape. And also the second one, it has a helicopter leaving a helipad with the exact same it has the exact same distinguished shape that it leaves. And I was curious if you're interested in seeing that to help you draw that, souls exist. Or I personally believe that there are such things as ghosts and souls and all that shit. But I do agree with what William says, that like a lot of them are fake, and it just kind of pisses me off when they have videos and you can barely see it, or they fudge the camera and you can't see it, or they look at the ground when they're supposed to show you what it is that they're saying it is. But anyways, I was wondering if you guys are curious to see those videos to add on to this conversation.
Yeah, it was Crave Witch that was saying where 95% of the videos are fake, but you can send them through. We can pull them up and, like I said, investigate. Because like this whole thing of like some sort of essence like leaving the body. Again, like to me, like that would point to some sort of like physicality to it. You know what I mean? Which I'm not ruling out here, but it's.
Do you believe it's true? Let me ask you something, Terry. Like on a serious level, do you believe that is that is true, or is a possibility, or you just don't know? There's no wrong answer to this, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, like in terms of what would be the best way to describe it? Like I'm skeptical, but I'm not kind of like saying, "Oh no, this can't exist." I mean, like, I don't have a reason why it can't exist, but like, I'm skeptical. You know what I'm
saying? Do I share the links backstage, or do I drop them off in the chat? Which will be best?
Yeah, you can just post them backstage.
All right, let me get backstage.
Should be the private chat
I'm
button.
looking. Well, I'm on my laptop because if I'm on my cell phone talking, but I'm on my laptop throwing everything together. And if I go on my phone and do it that way.
But I always seen it like the like ghostly footage is like the same as like alien footage. Like all of it, a lot of it's fake. And I just feel like the percentage of humans actually being able to find it and see it is like very low compared to the amount of stuff you can find out there that says it's here, it's there, it's.
Yeah, the alien footages that you get, like the January 6, 2021, I think, like the one that happened in Miami kind of pisses me off, or the one recently that happened on like April 6th up in Las Vegas when they had like the alien thing going in people's backyards. Like I hate those ones, and because it's like shitty fucking video quality. And you don't really get to see what they're talking about. It's just clickbait, like those paranormal ones about cryptids. They just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a skinwalker, and you don't see shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, what even pisses me off is the people who make fake UFO things in areas like that and send them up in like residential areas at night, and people be thinking that it's a fucking UFO and shit. It's not. Having the U.S. military like, we might have to shoot that down. I think one time it was like somebody put together this weather balloon thing, and it pissed off the U.S. military because they had a blip come up on their screen. Like, what the fuck is that?
Well, I mean, I personally believe UFOs are real. I believe aliens are real because there's phenomenal evidence everywhere, and it's a very hard thing to come out and say that because again, it's like it is a very far-fetched thing to say, but you just can't ignore when you see like ancient scrolls, if you will, or even hieroglyphics, or even modern day recent when you have like Bob Lazar talking about his experience of aliens, and it's just consistent from back in the 80s till to now. Also, another documentary, and it's Close Encounters, which is about Virginia, Brazil, that happened in the 90s, where aliens crash landed, and it gets really fucking crazy after that. But let me focus up on here, private chat. Let me see if this is the right one. Let me see if I can post it.
The one that gives me the most belief of alien life forms in the universe is probably the baffled random hieroglyphic pictures they have in Egypt of the tank, the helicopter, and the fucking fighter jet.
Let me see if this works. Terry, check the private chat if you.
Yep, have it here.
Yeah, that's the first one. If you want to, go on. Sorry.
While I'm loading this up, I just want to say as well, chat. We only need 4 more super chats if we want to avoid the super break. Well, it probably is a super break, a grift break. So we only need 4 $2 donations to avoid that grift break. Otherwise, we'll be going to the Ko-Fi. And if we do go another 2 hours without getting the $20, then, ladies and gentlemen, we will be wrapping up the show. But here's the video. This is the mouse you were saying that where the essence leaves their body, correct? Going to slow it down or just play it through?
You want to skip it to hold on. You kind of want to skip it because I don't want you to get like in trouble because it shows the mouse suffering and dying. But you want to go to like let's say 25 seconds. 25 seconds in the video and you'll see it. There it goes. You saw that?
So it's like, one second, let me do it. So but like, could that not have just been a breath?
The way it shoots up so fast, though.
Yeah, if it was a breath, then how come we didn't see it throughout the whole video?
Like it's almost like a jellyfish shape.
Now, hold on before you draw to any other questions. Look at the second video. You kind of want to skip it, like with 10 seconds in, and you'll see it's the exact same look.
Yeah, oh shit, I'm not sharing. 1 sec. So we're
Yeah,
10
no
seconds
problem.
in.
I hate these little things that they have in the beginning of these videos.
That was terrible music for that rat, though.
Yeah, worst timing ever. So you saw that, right? Very similar to what you saw with a mouse. Very similar.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is that like this is this is an inanimate object. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the mouse and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean? You know,
Look, you can have. Well, this is the thing. It's been proven that we do have energy in our brain, and also it's been also physically proven that once you die, your brain is 1 pound to 1.5 pounds lighter. There's a correlation with souls and energies of what the what living organisms are, especially here on Earth, and we only are limited to what we see because we're here on Earth. There's other life forms around the universe. I mean, it's a pretty arrogant proposition to think that we're the only living life forms or organisms in the whole universe, you know?
yeah, to assume. And just want to remind chat as well, if you
Yeah.
want any more ghost videos as well, we do have a specific move for that as well. If you want a specific topic or a specific song or a specific ghost video, it is only $20. And I just want to remind you as well, we're only $2 super chats away from hitting the super chat goal, and we have a guest backstage. Let me introduce him.
We bring in the studio this morning one of the gay rights activists, Mr. Should I call you Mr.?
Mr. Kieran Markham, welcome to the show, and William just echoing that as well. Chat, no more fucking videos until you fuckers hit that fucking super chat fucking goal. These folks.
Oh, nice to see William again. Hey, what's up, my favorite Aussie?
Well, my question is, why is William gay? Just like simple question. Why is William gay?
Because you're around. I mean, like you influence him. You mean like you inspire him to be that way. So I mean,
That's fair.
like
That's fair.
imitation is
That's
a
a
form
fair
of flattery, right?
Yeah, that's fair. Imitation is flattery. That's fair. That's fair. So
I even have a video for it and everything, Kieran.
And well, guys, if I could still show you around, here is the biggest, gayest man in the world.
Oh shit, misclick, my bad, sorry.
no, it's fair. It's fair. I'll take it. Fuck you. I'm good.
But getting us back to the prompt, Kieran, are you possessed by a gay person?
Good question. I'm possessed by a socially constructed narrative.
Okay.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
Can you tell us more?
I'll say it again. I'm possessed by a socially constructed narrative.
I get that, yeah. So like in terms of, can you give us more information though?
Well, yeah, being a white, middle-aged, heterosexual man, well, hang on. I'll go back to the prompt. Can people still be possessed today? Yes, people can be possessed. Yes, they can. I'm possessed.
Yes.
I'm possessed by the gays.
Yes, that's what I was asking. Like, can you give us more information of this possession? Like, is it a struggle for you?
I'd prefer if Teriak, if you were doing an exorcism to get this demon out of me.
Well, Kieran, for a low price of $4.99, we can play that meme clip. You know, special offer, 1 cent off today only, folks. $4.99 for that meme if you need an exorcism.
For $5, Teriak will perform at exorcisms, bro.
Live on stream.
That's OnlyFans shit. Hey, bro, that's a good fucking. Give me 10%. Okay, start an OnlyFans where you do exorcisms for $5. You see,
But how is that OnlyFans?
It's all the same thing, bro. It's well. Do you think OnlyFans might be possessed by demons?
Well, one could make the argument. It depends on what you're talking about possession. We were mentioning, like, Captain Ahab, for example. That's a character from the book Moby Dick. The captain.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, like one could make the case that he was, possessed by that idea or that aspect of revenge. So, like, are we talking about that, or are we talking about like an actual like horned beast that is somehow taking possession of your body?
Well, I just think if you started an OnlyFans, Teriak's OnlyFans, exorcisms, $5 a month for exorcisms. I reckon they could. And Ahab and the whale, bro. It's a kind of a circular reasoning. So it is. Ahab hated the whale hated fucking Ahab. Go round in circles.
Yeah, so but what I'm talking about is like when we're saying, oh, he's possessed. Like, are we talking about like a demon's in his body, or like is it just like idea?
Yeah, no, fucking demons. Teriak, do you think it would be fair? Would it be fair to say that people are involved in a spiritual war between good and evil? Is that fair?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. I'm still here.
Yeah, I don't hear Teriak. Maybe he's trying to talk while he's muted.
No, his brain fucking collapsed because I asked him the fucking serious question, right? Or he's gone for a piss.
Well, while he's silent, I'll shut up as soon as he's.
I was opening the door. Sorry. What was the question?
The question is, do you think that good cunts and bad cunts are involved in a spiritual war, like good and evil? Is there a spiritual war here on Earth?
I need you to define it.
Oh my god, definitions. What the fuck? Okay, Teriak, do you think demons and angels are real?
That's what I'm saying in terms of like when we say like, oh, demons, are you talking about like that horned beast kind of like thing, or are you talking about just like bad ideas?
God. No, I mean evil and good.
Yeah,
that's a spiritual war between evil and good.
Okay.
Okay.
But like what I'm trying to get to though is that like, when you're saying like evil and good, like, do you think that there's like an army of like horned beasts and things like that?
Yes.
Yeah, but where?
There's an army of fucking horned beasts and an army of fucking angels, and they're going to war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where? In my fucking mind. Come on, bro. You know this. It's real.
But
it's real.
When you kind of like throw a bunch of this stuff out, like, I just want to make sure that like we're getting to like what's actually like meant, if you get me, like the meaning behind it. You know what I mean? Because like we can all say it's a spiritual warfare, it's a battle of principalities and all this kind of stuff. But in terms of like this actual like possession, all this kind of stuff, one could read this question as like there's these actual demons, they do a bit of magic, and now they're controlling my body. I don't have control over my body. You know what I mean? So in terms of like that aspect, I would say no, I don't believe that that's real, because if we were to believe that that's real, then the whole thing of like accountability and an individual
free will,
choosing for themselves and agency,
whatever,
etc. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah. No, that's gay. Okay. There are demons and there are angels, and they are at war. That's not gonna fucking lie.
Yeah, but you could say that there's a war of ideas and the marketplace of ideas and all this kind of stuff.
Not
Like that's
ideas.
one thing.
Not ideas. Like existential, like real existential fucking shit, bro. Come on. You know this. You know this.
I'm not sure if you're explaining it right. Like mangoes, like, do you want to take a swing at it?
Yeah, he's basically asking if there's a spiritual war or a war between good and evil, like angels and demons. It's like you hear this a lot in biblical prophecy, like in Revelations, where the end of times or a prophecy of the sign of the times. And like take for an example, modernity. You see a lot of degenerate actions, like mainly from the left, when they're trying to indoctrinate children into the trans ideology. What the left did is that they gotten rid of conversion therapy and replaced it with their own version of conversion therapy in the form of gender affirming care. And widely is accepted that children are sacred, and it's very evil to taint or fondle with them in any sort of way. Good and evil. Another an example would be good and evil is basically secularism, like killing God, like man or God, so therefore we don't need God, the death of God. Friedrich Nietzsche made this claim, but going on the fundamental ethos, it's like God gave Satan the earth as a dominion, because don't forget, Satan casted down God from the kingdom of heaven because he was planning
I'm here
to
to
rebel.
tell you right now, we don't care.
William don't care as he wants to spin the wheel. William possessed the wheel.
Kieran, was I on the right track though? Was I doing a good job there?
Bro, look. All I'm saying is, like, we can pretend, we can have all the fucking philosophy. There is a spiritual war between good and evil. Now, call it fucking angels, call it demons. It don't matter. We are in the midst of a spiritual war. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of which, is there life after death, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay, we got one positive.
No, that's it.
Halffoot, I think, is. Are you going against?
Nah, yeah.
Okay, and then Mangoes, where are you at?
I don't know. Now this is, like, I don't believe that there is a heaven or a hell. I honestly don't. And that's a very awkward thing as me as a Christian. Like, I don't believe that there is a heaven or a hell. I mean, I can get into more details on that, but I know you guys won't track or understand what I'm getting at, but I'll try to explain best I can. There's reincarnation, that's for sure. I'll be confident and say there's that.
No, there's not. No, there's not. You fucking Hindu? Shut the. There's no reincarnation.
Does that not mean that there? Does reincarnation not mean that there's life after death?
Oh my God.
It could. Well, Karen, it's not really a Hindu idea. I mean, like, even some Christians believe that there is such thing as reincarnation. One of the
Which Christians? Get the fuck out.
George S. Patton, he was a staunch Christian, and he believed in God and all that, and he believed in reincarnation. That's one. Like it would make sense that, because listen. There was a time that there was like 2, 3, 4-year-olds were talking about World War II and the bombers, and one of the most famous cases is the Anne Frank situation. You know what I mean? I mean, you can neglect. I understand people are like, "Oh, that's full of shit," but that's fine, that's fair, that's your belief, and I'm going to respect that. I'm not going to think of you any lesser for thinking that I'm full of shit, because it is a very outrageous thing on the surface side, but you know, like when you look at the Eastern philosophy of reincarnation, the Hermetic principle, it does not seem unreasonable to think that there is a purpose of our life, that we're here multiple times until we are here to learn the lesson before we ascend to somewhere else. I mean, that's not a absurd proposition.
But bro, if you go with reincarnation, you're going to have to contend with the fucking infinite regress. Okay, right? Not going to lie.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is the infinite regress?
It's like so say for example, you do a thing and someone says why, and you go, well, because, and then they say why, and you go, because, and you say why, and you go, because. It goes around and around, and reincarnation is the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, there's no foundation. There's no solid fucking foundation to stand on.
You're not explaining how it goes into infinite regress.
I just did.
No, you explained what infinite regress was, but you didn't explain how reincarnation leads to that.
Well, oh my god, reincarnation. It's right in the fucking name. We go around and around and around.
You know, Andrew Wilson calls it the continuum. I know what fucking Karen is talking about, because Andrew Wilson calls it the continuum in a debate where you're debating somebody and they're saying like, well, why? Because it's bad. Well, why is it bad? Well, because it's bad, and then keeps going. It's a loop. It's a circle. It's a continuum. I know what he's talking about. And and this is where, I mean, like, no, this is fair. This is fair critique on that, you know. And like I said, that's where the Hermetic principle will come in. And the Hermetic principle is basically that you are the architect of your own life before you live that life. And the point is that you're supposed to tackle things that of your spirituality that you're supposed to perfect before moving on to or ascending to the next level of your spiritual journey within the continuum eternal ether, you know. And yeah, I understand, like, people like Karen is going to, you know, think it's bullshit. This is where fucking Shiva would come in, because he knows more about this shit than I do. But you know, I believe that I'll tell you what I believe, okay? I do personally believe that we are here on Earth to better ourselves and also to learn how to be more. Shut up, bitch! Spin the wheel. Fuck you.
Bitch!
Spin the wheel.
It's fair. I mean,
fucking
it's fair, man.
Fucking hate that guy.
Well, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful, ladies and gentlemen? I have a theory that this wheel actually is animate. It can actually it senses what we're talking about, and then it makes sure we stay on topic. So, gentlemen, do we get reincarnated?
Okay, mangoes.
Yeah,
if
go for it, dude.
Okay, if we get reincarnated, what's the fucking point? What? Okay, so compare one life, or continual reincarnation. What's the fucking point of being reincarnated?
The whole point is to better. Yeah, the whole point is
to improve
to
yourself,
improve your spirituality.
Yeah, fuck off. Yeah, correct. No. How about one life? You got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. That's it. You have one life.
I believe that's taken from the philosopher Eminem.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Terry.
No, it's fair. It's fair. If you are continually reincarnated, what's the fucking point? You have one life. You got one life. Okay. But there's an issue with that. You expect to understand everything in one life. Wouldn't take multiple lives for you to understand a lesson. Never said that. Never said that.
There can be
Well, I'm
manipulation. There can be the changing.
Don't you
of
step
the
on
person.
dude's balls? Who the fuck are you to
They're
say
begging for
anything?
it. There can be manipulation. There can be the changing.
Don't you
of
step
the
on
person.
dude's balls? Who the fuck are you to
They're
say
begging for
anything?
it.
Who?
I put on loop by accident. William says, who the fuck are we to say anything because we didn't get the super chat gold, so we're going on another grift break, folks. Let's get her done.
Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the wheel of Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the wheel of Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the wheel of Step right up, spin the wheel, see what's next. Sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the wheel of madness! Step right up,
Spin the wheel, see what's next.
sneaky questions flying fast. No one knows which topic will last. One-on-one or chaos in the room. Every spin brings a brand new boom. Wheel of madness, let it roll. Twist and turn, take control. Mind on fire, sparks ignite. Every debate's a crazy fight. Who's ready? Who's brave? The wheel decides what you'll face. Strap in! Here it comes! Welcome to the wheel of
Folks, we're back. We're going to close out. Something came up, so we will be ending here, but I do appreciate you, Creative Witch, saying I own your fucking souls now, you fuckers. And just because of you, we get the Hodge. We'll end on the Hodge Twins clip as well. But going to be raiding into Page. So again, like I said, just very interesting on what's going on right now. So I'll see you all tomorrow, same time. And appreciate you, Creative Witch. Take it easy.
That was a damn good show. For more damn good shows, click the video over there or the link in the description box. Oh, you getting pumped up. Don't forget to red pill the morons in the comment section below. This is all BS. It's all a bunch of lies for votes. Yeah.